I'm not saying these are lizard people, but if there were such things, this is what they would look like. Someone sent me a Gab video from a YouTube where Zach thinks that Vita Ayala is developmentally disabled, which is freaking hysterical, but it's kind of an edgy thing to do in modern day YouTube environment. So if your heroes are Rosenbaum, Huber, George Floyd, the jogger guy, whatever his name was, Jacob Blake, you definitely need better heroes. If you hold them up as icons, then your civilization is not going to be civilized for very long. Take a look at America right now. Do you think it's on the right track? It's only property. They're looting or burning. It can all be replaced. By whom? Effectively, aren't the stores just subsidizing the BLM rioters? California has looting literally every day. It's a lifestyle for some people. That's not a functioning civilization, or at least it's not one that's going to function for very long. Colin Kaepernick, LeVar Burton, and all these other just idiots are whining about a two-tier justice system, but no one ever suggests physically splitting apart. If things are so bad, then why not just separate into different counties? Then you could have paradise of Trayvon Martin's, the gentle giant guy, whatever his name was, George Floyd, who was a home invader and a junkie. Why don't Joy Reid, Colin Kaepernick, Don Lemon, LeVar Burton get together with the intellectual giants and just put forth a proposal for their own experimental county somewhere? If they don't want police and they want social workers and they don't want families, but instead they want Marxist villages where single moms, in their infinite wisdom, will raise kids without toxic male energy, why don't you just build an experimental Wakanda-type city? Every identity group could do this. Build ideological regions of the county. There could be there wouldn't be any more two-tier justice system if everyone was with their own group. That way George Floyd could have done a home invasion on Joy Reid's communist cell block, and Colin Kaepernick could have yeeted and deleted Mr. Floyd. Because in the real world, we know that junkies like Floyd or idiots like the jogger or Rosenbaum, Gross Kurtz, Huber, they were never going to die of natural causes. Some animals are not fit for civilization. All 6 people involved at the Kenosha were scumbags with criminal histories. Jacob Blake started this ball rolling by bad touching a woman, fighting with the cops, picking up a knife after fighting with them, carrying the knife to a car full of kids that the cops thought that he was kidnapping. Normal people, didn't focus, don't fight with a half-dozen armed people. It's the act of an insane person to bring a knife to a gunfight. If LeBron James thinks that knife fights are normal in his community, then his community is deeply sick. It's the soft bigotry of lowered expectations to not hold violent people accountable. Oh, no, knife fights are totally normal in our community. Well, doesn't a knife fight mean that 2 people have knives and it's like mutual combat? Like, they're both armed. The one girl had a knife and the other girl was unarmed and she was about to be disemboweled. That's not a knife fight so much as a knife attack by one person against the victim. Are you saying knife attacks and people being disemboweled and slaughtered, that's a normal part of your community? Maybe in Liberia or something. Jacob Blake, Josh Zeminski, Rosenberg, Huber, Grosskreutz were all sociopaths who were never going to fit in any civilized society. The only non-felon was Kyle Rittenhouse, and the globalist media paints this plucky, chubby commie killer as the bad guy. That is insane. You can't hold people like Rosenbaum or Floyd up as heroes. If they are your society's august idols, your society is in deep shit. Rosenbaum hurts kids. That is all that needs to be said. Once you find out that your hero hurt little boys, you drop him immediately. Just erase him right off your poster boards. And you don't hold up pictures of Rosenbaum. That's like you're just holding up a big L. You're like, yeah, we're idolizing someone who hurts kids. Oh, well, he shouldn't have. Yeah, he should have been deleted. If you hurt kids, you can't worship someone who hurts kids. That's insane. Huber and Grosskreutz, those were just kind of like ordinary scumbags. Rosenbaum was a monster. Burglary and abusing your girlfriend is one thing because, she can put a freedom pellet in him and dissuade him of his abuse. Adults can shoot bad guys. Kids are defenseless. Nobody misses Rosenbaum. All the heroes of the left are sociopaths. Oh, we're going to defund the cops. Okay, so what do you do when businesses hire private guards to shoot looters? Oh, we're going to burn their stores down. Okay, but then you don't have any stores. What do you do then? They keep saying Kyle Rittenhouse is the face of white supreme people, except I mean, it seems like the definition of white is getting kind of, it gets broader and broader every year as more and more people get lumped into it, because he's mixed. And, like, you know, I'm expecting to see some blue-eyed, blonde-haired, Aryan, Nordic type who's, like, was in all those ski movies in the 80s. And it also seems like they're saying Kyle was effectively wearing a short skirt and no panties. LeVar Burton is an idiot. He's a Hollywood privilege. It's like purse puppy privilege is being able to say really dumb things and never be told you're dumb because you'd be called istophobic and destroyed on social media. LeVar is dumb. There's no way to say that. There's no nice way to say that. He's, I think, legitimately low IQ. And one of his asinine statements was about how it would have been different if Kyle was dark and not fair. And then people post images of black guys who were literally at the courthouse with an AR-15 or the NFAC gang walking around. They are walking around armed. It's the no fudging around group. They had 3 negligent discharges so far at their groups. And you look at them walking around, they're all masked up and they're carrying ARs. And then you look at their fingers. And I looked at a picture of like a dozen and you zoom in on their fingers. You're supposed to have your fingers straight along the receiver, not on the trigger guard itself, of course, but not even, it's supposed to be above the trigger guard. A little bit, I mean, above the trigger assembly a little bit. And these guys had their fingers straight or slightly curved, and it wasn't quite within the trigger well, but it was very close. And one guy did have his finger on the trigger. Like, you can zoom in on this picture, and you can see one guy had his finger on the trigger, and you're like, that's why you had 3 negligent discharges, because one, you have a round in the receiver, it's cocked, and you have your fingers way too close to the trigger. They had like 3 discharges, and they shot 3 people because one bullet went through one person and hit another person. It's like, you guys just keep holding L's. Like, there's nothing wrong with open carrying, but you don't have a round in the receiver, and you always muzzle safe, and you don't have your finger on the trigger. Mainly muzzle safe, like muzzle's always down. But these people are idiots. Oh, or even people are posting pictures of the Chaz, which I showed, which turned into Liberia in like a day. I don't know how long the Chaz was active. It was, I think 3 weeks, and there were 6 or 7 shootings around the Chaz at that time. It just turned into a war zone. And now people are spurging out on Twitter, horrified that people can defend themselves with rifles from someone trying to delete them. They never stop to think about the things they say. Like, she was wearing a short skirt and no panties. Kyle attracted the wrong element. It's insane when you actually say it out loud. Or they always make they make statements, declarations, but they never come up with, they raise the issue, but they never go through the analysis and conclusion. There's two-tier justice system in America. Okay, so what's your analysis of it, and then what is your conclusion? Oh, I don't know. I just think it's unfair. Okay, but what do you think should be done? Where should we go from here? How do we redress this grievance? I don't know. Someone else will think of that. Then why are you bothered? You already have a platform. Go that one step further. Put a little bit of effort into it. And like, how do you redress this? How do you fix this? BLM and Antifa is owned by the left wing. They can't criticize it without being called a fashionable person. Even when Antifa attacks female reporters and a blue checkmark cautiously spoke up, he is immediately told to check his privilege and stay in his lane because he criticized Antifa attacking a female reporter. Rosenbaum, George Floyd, the Aubrey, Gad the jogger, those are absolute scumbags, and the world is better with them not in it. They're the heroes of the left. The left wing has statues of a guy who did a home invasion on a woman. They have icons of a junkie scumbag criminal. I don't have to be Rasputin to predict that is not a society that is headed for good things. You can't venerate monsters and expect a society to survive. That is like biblically Sodom and Gomorrah stuff. You're looking for a reset. People are talking about that great reset. And yeah, the puppet masters have something planned. And there are useful idiots who are just so eager to be enslaved. They line up so they can bend over and eat the bugs, live in the pod. Focus on Kyle Rittenhouse and ignore Giselle Maxwell and Epstein and the Hollywood child trafficking rings. He also literally had a black kid go to his high school and blast a bunch of kids. He's sitting at home playing video games. He was a drug dealer who shot a bunch of people and is sitting at home right now. Yeah, there's a two-tier justice system, but it's not exactly what you think. So someone said that they were going to send black kids to right-wing events. Someone said the Kathleen Kennedy. They're going to send left-wing people to Kathleen Kennedy Club events and goad them into shooting them in self-defense. And it's like, where are the Kathleen Kennedy Club? Where are they marching? Where are they marching? And then why would you goad them into self-defense? It's like, well, if they're brave enough to be flying those colors and march around somewhere, they're probably also very heavily armed. So best of luck to you on that. They never stop and wonder about the difference between the right wing and the left wing. The right wing's not trying to blow up gas stations. The right wing is peacefully assembled to sing Christian songs. Now, here's the thing about the right wing and the white supreme white wing, the multi-ethnic, multiracial white supremacy of the right wing, because they're black guys who are, these black Christians they're now honorary Klan members. They're peacefully assembled singing Christian songs. You're going to goad them and shoot. It's like, there's a suspicious lack of Hugo Boss wearers in America, so they have to find whoever they can find. It's like you find a bunch of not white people to be your straw man. So how would we feel if a left-wing guy shot a MAGA guy? If he was running around threatening to kill the victim and chased him, and at the last minute the victim turned and fired 4 shots, why would we care? You're going to go to a MAGA event and shoot people in self-defense. Do they even hear how insane that sounds? You can't chase somebody. One, you can't follow somebody that's stalking. 2, you can't threaten somebody that's assault. 3, you can't chase somebody because that's assault. They fear an imminent battery. They fear for their life. They fear grievous bodily injury. The last minute, somebody turns and defends themselves with the tool they have available. Like, yeah, that was a good shoot, good case of self-defense. You don't have the right to chase somebody, period. Oh, a skateboard, just walk off a skateboard. No, you don't have to suffer a battery, period. You may defend yourself with any tool you have available. You don't have to go procure a skateboard and do mutual combat skateboard to skateboard. A skateboard is heavy as a baseball bat, and it has the weighted trucks at the wheels. You can beat someone to death with a skateboard very easily. You knock someone unconscious and simply continue to batter them until they're deceased. You don't have to accept any harmful and offensive touching. You may defend yourself. He had the tool to defend himself, and he used it. It's not unreasonable. Do you want to live in a civilized society? Yes, then don't chase people. You don't have the right to chase people. Well, I don't know why that's so hard for people to understand. They saw the FBI drone footage. You had Rosenbaum chasing a guy who at the last minute turned and fired. That's perfectly legal in any civilized society. He shouldn't have been there. It doesn't matter why he was there. None of that matters. You don't have the right to lay in wait. That's murder 1. There's murder 1, murder 2, manslaughter, negligent homicide stuff. Laying in wait, and then usually death by torture, bomb, or sometimes arson is also murder 1, premeditated. You can't lay in wait for somebody. That's the highest degree of murder. And there's a felony murder rule. You can't chase somebody. It's not that complicated. If all these people are whining about, all these celebrities are whining, they're losing their friggin' minds over. You go, oh, here's the drone footage. You have one person chase another person. It's self-defense, case closed. You should be dismissed with prejudice. But you just can't accept that. Anyway, like, comment, subscribe. I'll see you guys all next episode.